We'll log into the Pure Application Systems using a common username. That'll bring us to the Pure Application Systems console, where we go to the Workload console, to the Patterns and Virtual Applications. From here, we will select the IBM Business Intelligence Pattern 2.0 from the drop-down list, which will list patterns that have already been defined. We'll see a live thumbnail, one of which we can open, and this is where we have a fully drag and drop environment to bring out the business intelligence, user registry, or dynamic cube components as we have here. To connect them, it's a simple drag and drop of the dot-to-dot buttons to make them aware of one another. We do ask for some environmentally specific information, such as the content store type. You can have DB2, Oracle, or SQL Server, the database name, IP import, username, and so on. You then upload your JDBC drivers to the environment. We'll use the Pure Data JDBC drivers in this instance. That will upload it to the Pure Application System, and as well you do that for the data source connectivity for any other sources you are going to create in Cognos. Once these are being uploaded, we'll specify our administrative credentials for the namespace we had defined. And then we'll look at the deployment throughput options. So you can have a standard or an advanced option. Under standard, we have low, medium, and high, which will define things like the Java heaps and VM size, or you can have an advanced where you would manage it through the available values. We also have the scaling policy, which you can have defined static or CPU based. CPU based being once the CPU threshold is met for the predefined amount of time, additional application tiers will be scaled out to help manage workload. As you can see from our namespace, we chose Tivoli. This will allow us to enter our usernames and port information, and then finally dynamic cubes, again a standard or advanced configuration. These will be stood up as individual dispatchers when deployed. We will save the application, and we'll see the thumbnail is updated with the new connection. One of the ease of use here is cloning the environment, so should you need an additional environment for some reason, you can simply take one that exists, give it a new name, update the service name and the content store name, and then you can deploy it, and you can delete it just as easily. Here we're going to deploy the FutureChip secure instance. And we'll notice up the top you can view the status, and we can see the items that are deployed on the left hand side. I already have a FutureChips basic deployed, and that could be a development environment, for example, and now we're deploying the FutureChips secure environment. As it's deploying, it will show a status, and what it's actually doing is creating the virtual machines on the Pure Application box, uploading the Cognos content to those virtual machines, installing, configuring, and starting the services. And now we can see that it's up and running. We have 6 different instances listed here and 7 virtual machines in total. These include Content Manager 1 and 2, application tiers, scaling policy, and an NFS server. This started at 10:09 a.m. and the virtual machines were up at 10:24, so just over 15 minutes. It would take just another moment to start the services after that, but to deploy a 7-server environment in just 15 minutes is quite outstanding given the traditional means of deploying a Cognos environment. You'd access your Content Manager URI just like you would historically, and you would offer the end users the dispatcher endpoint, the local dispatcher URI. And you can see when we click it, it takes us to a login screen which has our Tivoli namespace that was defined, and it'll look just like a standard Cognos environment. Just to show the Cognos administration and configuration, we will see all the dispatchers that have been started in this environment through this deployment. And we'll log off here. And now we get into the management of the environment. So historically you'd go to each VM to collect things like logs or manage them. With Pure Application Systems, it's a single pane of glass where you simply click on the dispatcher or content manager you wish to view. You can see all the graphs around the VM usage itself. So as you can see, the storage, the I/O, memory usage, things of that nature. With this, we also have our logging in a single location. Again, traditionally, you'd have to go to each server, collect the logs, take them from the logs folder, view them elsewhere. Here, drill to the server you want to view, select the log you want to view, and start your troubleshooting immediately. Should you need to download all these logs for a deeper analysis, you can do so simply by clicking on the Download All button, and that will download a zip for each server. As for operations, things like updating passwords, JDBC drivers, and the like, is again all done through the same location, where you'd simply update your passwords or whatever the means may be that require a change. Once it's updated, you hit the submit button, and operation execution would be submitted to the pure application system, and all steps would be taken to populate that. The same goes for any fixed packs or hot sites that may be applied, and you'd upload those to the pure application system, and the pure app would take care of the full restart. And also you can filter down the virtual application instances to just the BI pattern 2.0.